This whole stack of games is worth $375 total on pricecharting.com. Here's how I got it for only $45. Let's get into it. Hello, it's Josh here, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about one of the craziest finds I've ever found in a thrift store. For context, I found all of this. Each game was $2 a piece, and I paid $45 in all, plus tax, for 21 games. And there are some really expensive games here, so I thought it was really interesting if I would make a video about it. Starting off, I found two limited collector's edition, actually, Xbox original games. So I found the Steelbook of Doom 3, and I want to point out it is complete. It has everything, and the disc, and the Steelbook is in very good condition, if you could tell. So yeah, I am very happy to own this now. Next, one of my favorite games of all time, Halo 2. I found the limited collector's edition Steelbook of this, also for $2. I really like the Steelbook, and I'm planning on displaying this up on my shelf. I think that it just looks so cool. I love the black and white. It's such a cool Steelbook, and I really like it. I'm going to start off with some of the cheaper games first. So I'm going to do it by genre of game. So starting off with my smallest category, I'm going to start with open world game. Shadow of the Colossus is a PlayStation 2 classic and a game I absolutely love. I didn't have the black label, so I made sure to buy that so I can replace my old copy. That was the Player's Choice version. I'm very happy to own this. It is 100% complete, and honestly, most of the games here are complete, so I'm very excited to say that as well. The other open world game is Red Dead Revolver. It is the first in the Red Dead series, and I haven't gotten into it yet, but from what I've heard, it's fantastic, so I'm very excited to play it. This is also in complete condition. Next up, I'm starting out with the 3D platformers. Unfortunately, I'm starting out with Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal. Unfortunately, this one is not complete. It's just disc only, but still, it's nice to own this game. This is another PlayStation 2 classic. Next is one of my favorite PlayStation 2 games of all time, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. Right when I got all of these games, the first thing I did was I put this in my PlayStation 2 and then played through it, and this game is really fun. Highly recommend it. It is complete. Really good 3D platform. Next is a game I've heard so much about, and I'm so glad to finally have in my collection, Beyond Good and Evil. People always talk about this, people always say it's great, so I'm very excited to finally own a copy. Two more smaller categories of games is the hack and slash genre and the RPG genre. So I am starting off with the RPGs. So first, Final Fantasy X. Haven't gotten into the Final Fantasy series yet, but from what I've heard, Final Fantasy X is a very good game in the series. I'm very excited to finally own a copy so I could finally get into the series. It is complete, which is exciting. Very happy about this. Not the most expensive game, but it is still a game worthy of being in your collection. Guess sticking with the Final Fantasy theme, Final Fantasy XII. I haven't heard much about this game, but I thought, hey, it's a Final Fantasy game, so I bought it. If I end up liking 10, I will certainly start playing this one as well. The final RPG I found is Odin Sphere. I've heard a lot about this one as well. It's an Atlas RPG. You may know them from the Persona series and various other smaller series. I heard that this is a really good game. I'm very excited to get into this one as well. Next, hack and slashes. I'm a big Capcom fan, so seeing Onimusha Warlords, I was very excited to see this as well. I haven't heard much about this game, but from what I see, it's a fairly decent game. I really am into Capcom games, so it's always nice to have more into my collection. Next is another game that I was so excited to have, and then I ended up playing a lot of it right when I got this collection of games. God of War 1 and 2. So I got both of these. I played through a good couple hours of God of War. Loving it so far. Very fun. Just a really fun time. I love its Greek aesthetic. And the game just feels so good to control. God of War 2. It's another God of War game. This is the 2-disc set. I really didn't know what that means. Yet again, both these games are complete. So disc 1, disc 2, I guess this says special features. I don't know exactly what those special features are, but I'm excited to try it out. The final set of games that I have before we move on to some of the bigger titles that I've found is the shooter genre. So first, I found 13. This is also a highly recommended one. I heard so much about this. I love its cel-shaded graphics, and the game looks really fun, so I'm excited to finally get into this one as well. Now, you can't say PlayStation without saying Metal Gear Solid series, and from what I've heard, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater is the best in the series. So I'm finally gonna get into the series now that I own a copy, and I'm very excited to get into this one as well. Yet again, complete. This is the only greatest hits game that was in this whole set. Black, I heard that it's just a solid shooter. I heard it's a fairly generic shooter, but it's a good one. But I thought that $2 was a very fair price. So I'm interested in checking this one out as well. The worst condition game other than the disc-only one was this. This thing has definitely been through a lot of sets of hands. This one I don't believe is complete. Yeah, it's just disc-only. It has a few top scratches, but I checked, the disc works fine still, and I'm happy about that. But yeah, I heard this one's a fairly good futuristic shooter. So I thought it was also an interesting thing to check out. Now, the first Just Cause. Haven't gotten into the Just Cause series, so I thought the first one is a very good place to start. So I thought that getting this is perfectly worth the $2 I paid for it. Now finally onto the big three. I'm going to just do this progressively, so it's going to start with the cheapest of the most expensive games onto finally the big one. So starting off, as I said, I'm a big Capcom fan, and I heard that this, Killer 7, is a very good game. This one isn't too expensive, it's $25, but still, $25 is fairly expensive for a PlayStation 2 game. I heard this is very beautiful aesthetically. It's a cel-shaded shooter, kind of similar to 13. Yet again, published by Capcom. Heard so much about this, I'm very excited to check it out. The next one, would you believe it, is another Capcom game. And I love fighting games, so this is very exciting for me to find as well. Capcom vs. SNK 2. I saw this in the store and was like, this is a big one. I knew that this is a very expensive game. This one you could typically find $55, $60. It's complete, which I think is insane. Very excited about this. I played a lot of this as well. Game is really fun. I really like playing the Street Fighter characters, but mixed in with some of the Samurai Showdown characters. I thought that's a fun team. Now, the big one. And would you believe it? It's another Capcom game. This one, at first seeing it, I thought really nothing much of it, because the box art is horrible. But then I saw that it was Capcom, so I decided to look it up, and yeah, this game can go up to $120, depending on its condition. And I'm happy to say, my copy of God Hand is a very nice copy. It doesn't have stickers on it. It just looks beautiful. You can see by what I meant about the box art not being too good, but I mean, it's an expensive game. I put this one in, the disc works perfectly, it's complete, and also, funny story about this, back in the PlayStation 2 era, it was GameStop store policy to stick the stickers onto the box art itself. So like they'd put it right down here. They would take out the box art from its case and then stick it on the box art so you couldn't take it off without ripping it. And that's why I'm very thankful for a lazy employee that didn't unstick the sticker and just slid it under, because now I have a perfect copy of God Hand. I played this. It's a very fun beat 'em up, and it's super satisfying. It's complete, and honestly, I just couldn't believe it when I found this game for how cheap it was. This just goes to show you, sometimes you do have to be patient, but thrift stores, yard sales, and various other sources of second-hand media can be a very good source to get into retro game collecting for a very cheap price. Keep in mind, I paid $2 per game for this entire set. I'm going to be playing some Sly Cooper. This is one of my favorite 3D platformers of all time. I really love this game. Its combat's really fun. It's just a really, really fun and cool game. I like how it mixes stealth elements to the platforming elements, so you can always like strategize before you go into a fight or a platforming challenge. There's like various platforming mechanics that are like really unique to this game, and its cel-shaded visuals really hold up. I got hit there. Now I'm going to be playing some Capcom vs. SNK 2. As you know, Capcom and SNK are legends of the fighting game industry. I really, really loved this game. It's super fun. So I'm going to play around and I'll see if I win it. So, my favorite character has always been Ken. I love Ken. He's the coolest. I also like Haumaru and Terry Bogard. Those are my favorites.
This is gonna be a match to remember. Fight!
Oh, she grabbed me. Alright, I grabbed her. Alright, she whiffed that, so I managed to get my back quarter roll in. I like how you keep the character that you're playing as, but move on to the next character to fight. So currently I'm fighting E Honda. Oh, he got me at the stomp. I read that. I knew he was going to do that. Alright, I got him. On to the final character. Let's see if I can do it without losing a single life. This is the second most expensive game I found. You could typically find copies for somewhere around $55, $60 complete. Thankfully, I have a complete copy here. The graphics in this game are really snappy and really fun. I really like it. Oh, we both grabbed each other at the same time. Oh, threw him. Oh. The feeling it was going to do something like that. Oh. Jumped over it. I got him. Now moving on to by far the most expensive game that I found, and the most expensive game I have in my PlayStation 2 collection, God Hand. This is another Capcom developed game, and I haven't played much of it, but it's a beat 'em up, and it seems to be really fun. I like this cool, like, Western aesthetic. I'm gonna skip the cutscene to get right into the gameplay. So you could, like, do cool special moves like that. And then, like, there's punches and kicks. I used La Bomba.